Welcome to Kerr 9000's Horror House.
Hi, it's Kerr 9000 here on the Horror House to talk about the film Coherence, or as I'd like to call it, Coherence, the mental mindfuck catastrophe, starring that guy who was Xander from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He's basically the only person you'll probably recognise unless you're frequently watching B-list movies and know every weird person like the back of your hand. And I'm an autistic obsessive, and I have no idea who the heck any of these people are. But what we have here is a weird horror film. Well, actually, horror's probably not the best choice of words for it. Sci-fi, psychological thriller, for want of those who feel they must attach a label to things. The film was directed by James Ward, by a crit. I'm not great with names either. And it was his directorial debut. Which I think if you watch the film, yeah, I would call it a very good first try. It's all about 8 friends living in Northern California who reunite for a dinner party being held at the home of Mike and Lee on the night that a comet is passing. Emily, one of the women, is basically... she has mixed feelings about whether she should accompany her boyfriend Kevin on a long business trip to Vietnam. We start off with what is your typical dinner party, people making generally lame conversation, your stereotypical, "Oh, I've not seen you in ages, what are you up to?" claptrap. And then a power outage occurs, and Mike and Lee get boxes with candles and glow sticks in them to use for light. Every one of the friends takes a blue glow stick, and then they venture outside where they see the comet passing overhead, and that is where I can basically tell you this film is like an episode of Twilight Zone. They notice a broken window, and then they notice there's a house down the bottom of the lane which still has light on. If I'm saying any of this in the wrong order, it's because my mind was busy doing all the gymnastics involved in this film's turns and twists. But they approach the house. One of them looks in the window and he notices that the people in there are having a dinner party. The reason the people in there are having a dinner party is because they're in fact having the same dinner party that these people have just come from. We are talking parallel universes. Parallel universes that, due to the comet, are all converging on each other and somehow coexisting on the same street. Now, if I was to tell you any more, I would probably ruin the film. And providing you have a taste for the weird, I'd actually recommend you give this film a try. Think of it as an episode of The Twilight Zone with a slightly bigger budget made now. It's twisty, turny, and by the end of it, it will leave you questioning things. It doesn't end with a particularly solid end. It's more one of those films that leaves things up to the interpretation. But all in all, not a bad film. And to say this is somebody's directorial debut, well done, mate. That's Kerr 9000 signing off, saying keep on watching those scary movies, boys and ghouls.